never know how somebody's gonna. I mean, when you're evaluating a kid when he's 17, 18,
Yeah.
um, you don't know what college life is going to be like for him. He might pick a college that doesn't fit for him, and he ends up a bust there. It's just hard to say. I mean, kids mature at different rates, and obviously, athletic talent is something that it grows at a different rate as well. But those freak athletes, you can tell from a young age that they've got that certain it, but do they have it upstairs? Can they make it through a whole college career and then make it to the NFL and be successful? It's pretty hard to tell from one kid to another.
And that's why I think it's so much more difficult what these college evaluators are trying to do in evaluating high school players than pro scouts are doing evaluating college players, because to go out and scout a 15 or 16-year-old kid and try to project how much he's going to develop physically, forgetting all the other stuff you just mentioned, which is totally part of the deal too, but just physically, some kids hit their peak at 15 or 16 and they don't develop a ton more past that, and some aren't even anything close to what they're going to be when they're 19. And then the various levels of high school competition is all over the place, as opposed to if you're an NFL scout and you're watching a player play in the Big Ten. Well, you know the level of play that they're playing against, and they're 20 years old, 21 years old, and sure, we can develop them a little bit more and we can develop their game, but shoot, they're playing in a big time program, and it's just so much more to go on that's more consistent and known watching a big time college football game and players than going to some high school somewhere.
You know what? I think the biggest thing that I see with a bust is a kid that finds out once he gets to college that he doesn't like playing football. That happens a lot. That's one factor you don't really take into account. That it was fun in high school. You were winning. Your team was great. You get to college, it's a different animal all of a sudden. Maybe you're not winning games, and the game's not fun to you anymore. And you decide, you know what? I don't want to play football anymore. Maybe I'll just keep going to college, but I don't want to play anymore. And that happens a lot. It happens more than people think.
Yeah. And maybe also you're just so good versus everybody you're playing at the high school level is that it's more fun versus, man, I got to bust my tail and I'm getting hit a lot harder. And these collisions are a lot tougher. And these dudes in front of me are a lot harder to move.
Yep.
And this is more of an everyday thing, not just I go to practice and I'm so much better than everybody. It's pretty much of a breeze for 2.5 hours versus, man, I got to seriously lift weights now.
Yeah, you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
It's a dedicated job. I mean, you're called
Yeah.
a student athlete, but it's a job. I mean, be honest, it is a job, and it's a pain in the butt. You have to have the right mindset and the right attitude to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And they're going to be back at it. What, a couple days into the winter semester, coming back from
Air conditioning, yeah.
Christmas break. They'll be back at it. And just think about these guys, everybody listening to us right now, and we don't know the half of it, but they're going to be in a gym at 5 a.m. lifting weights, and they're not even close. They're 8 months away from playing a football game. But
I mean,
if they don't do it now,
think about how many of us when we were 19, 20 years old were waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go bust our butts and work out before practice even starts at 7:30. So yeah. Like a lot of the Rex Burkhead comments, he had a heck of a game Sunday. My goodness. for the
Yeah,
Texans.
he is still getting it done, isn't he?
Mm, mm. He was a kid, I'll tell you, when he was in high school. I had the pleasure to meet him down at the TCU Nike camp and interviewed him there and shot a bunch of footage of him just making DBs and linebackers look silly. And he was definitely an all-time fan favorite here at the University of Nebraska, that's for sure. And it's great to see him getting some success there on Sundays still. He's got a couple of Super Bowl rings to go along with it all too. So
Yeah, I got to admit, I didn't really give it that much thought, but I don't know that I expected him to be this good in the NFL.
I'll get him in the minute. Yeah, he started off with the Bengals, and I think he was their starting running back. I think until Giovanni Bernard was drafted, and then later Joe Mixon. But you kind of thought his career might be done then, and moved on and really played some key roles there for the Patriots. And now he again as a backup. All of a sudden, he's been thrust into the starting lineup for the Texans and making the most of it. And that's the kind of player he is. Rex. He'll take his opportunities and he'll go with it. Hell of a competitor and heck of a football player and one tough son of a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, 22 carries for $149 and 2 touchdowns this past Sunday. And he didn't get on the field until the last Sunday of October. And they just, I don't know if he was injured before that or what the deal was, but then they started giving him the ball. And yeah, he's come through. It's good to see.
Good to see Amir Abdullah also doing some things for the Panthers here late in the season as well. So a little bit of Nebraska flavor going on, and still on the weekends right now.
Yeah, Amir Abdullah.
You're talking about star rankings. Amir Abdullah was a 3-star, and coming out of Alabama, everybody wanted him to play corner. Nebraska said, "Hey, we like you as a running back," because he played running back. I saw him play in the Alabama Mississippi All Star game. It was the first time that I met Amir, and a little bit shortly after that, he committed to Nebraska, and that, ironically, was the year I moved back to Nebraska from Nashville, and when Amir was a freshman, and first day of practice, he walked in, and I was standing there. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I told him, "I'm following you, buddy." So yeah, he was a guy that was not highly coveted, who came to Nebraska and made 2 4-star guys leave the program because he was better than they were, and he's also had a pretty good career in the NFL. Once upon a time, if younger people don't remember, but Nebraska used to be running back you. They really desperately want to get back to that again. But year in and year out, you had Nebraska running backs running wild in the NFL.
Roger Craig, Tom Rathman,
Lawrence Phillips,
Amon Green.
Oh yeah, Calvin Jones. Prince Mukamara? Or no, not. He's a corner. Roy Halou. God, keep on going.
Yep.
Yeah.